Hi everyone. So the topic on GST now is value of taxable supply of goods and services or both. For the purpose of GST, what value means is the first thing that we need to understand. What is value under GST? Why value or understanding value becomes important in GST is because GST as a tax is basically applied as a percentage on the value. As all of you know that we have got different percentages of GST like 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. Now these percentages have to be applied on a certain amount, then only you are able to determine the tax liability under GST. So the amount on which these rates of GST are applied is called value. So now valuation or understanding the significance of value becomes very important because any variation in the value of goods or services or the transaction will have a direct impact on the collection of revenue to the government, because the tax has to be applied as a rate on the value which the parties are paying to each other, or the value determined for a particular transaction is the value on which you apply the percentage of GST and the collection of tax happens. So value is extremely important. The valuation of the transaction is extremely important as it is directly linked to the collection of revenue to the government. So the government will take utmost care in ensuring that every transaction or in every transaction there's a clear declaration of the exact value for which the transaction happens. So what the government has done, or what we need to understand in terms of valuation under GST is what are the different types of transactions where valuation becomes little difficult for us. See, so long as there are two parties to a transaction and the value of the transaction is clearly known to us in all respects, the question of any ambiguity or any special treatment does not arise. But however, there can be very many instances where the valuation of the particular transaction will become quite difficult because of the various reasons or the arrangements that the buyer and the seller may have made between them, which eventually will mean some sort of an addition to the value already declared in the transaction. So please understand, when we talk of value of taxable supply under GST, the valuation is very broad in nature, and there can be very many different criterion or circumstances in which you will be required to check with the valuation or arrive at the right valuation. So what are these different types, and basically or fundamentally what value under GST means, we will see first. So what in principle, if you go by what is given under the Act of GST, the term value means the transaction value. So these two words are very important to the students. You need to keep these two things in mind. It is the transaction value which is very important. Okay, I shall just read that for you. The value of supply of goods or services or both shall be the transaction value. So now the next question is, what is transaction value? When I say transaction value, what is transaction value? It is again further defined as a price actually paid or payable for the said supply of goods or services. So eventually it is the price which is paid by the customer to the vendor which becomes the transaction value, and that will be treated as value for the purpose of charging GST. So two important things what you establish from the meaning of value is, one is the value is nothing but a transaction value, and the transaction value is nothing but the price actually paid or payable for the supply of goods and services by the recipient of goods or services to the provider of service or the supplier of goods. Is that clear? So the first important concept or the thing that you need to keep in mind when we talk of value of taxable supply is, value means the transaction value. Value means the transaction value. And transaction value again means the price paid or payable by the receiver of goods or service to the vendor of goods or service. In respect of goods you say supplier, and in respect of supplier or vendor, and in respect of service you say the supplier of service, or in some cases it can be goods and services both, in which case also the same principle will apply. Now, what are the conditions under which transaction value is straightaway accepted as the value for the purpose of GST? Now, are there any conditions on which the transaction value is accepted, or is it that whatever is the value charged between two parties on a transaction is accepted straight away, is what we need to see. Again, the Act defines, or the Act says, that there are certain conditions which, if fulfilled only, the transaction value shall be taken as the ultimate value of goods or service for the purpose of charging GST thereon. So we will see what these conditions are now. The first condition is the supplier and recipient should not be related. When do you take transaction value per se as the value for the purpose of charging GST? Only and only if the supplier and the recipient of goods should not be related to each other. If there's any relation between these two, then the question of any favoritism between the parties may arise, and the value need to be looked into beyond a simple transaction value. So the first condition is that the supplier and the recipient should not be related. And the second important condition is price should be the sole consideration. Sole consideration should be the price. It means, except the price which is paid by the recipient of goods or service to the vendor, to the seller or the supplier of service, there must not be any other kind of a favor that the supplier of the goods or service may have received from the recipient of service. Again, the point here is the government is trying to look at the protection of revenue. Please understand, there are two distinct, drastically opposite interests that need to be taken care in respect of an indirect tax like GST. Say, for example, as far as the government is concerned, as you already have seen, as you already may know, and I also have quite many times informed in my earlier lectures, that the intention of the government is to collect as much of taxes, as more of taxes as possible. So the government is always the intention of the government is always to collect more and more and more of tax from the transactions which are where the GST becomes applicable. Now, on the contrary, it always has been from the beginning the attempt of the manufacturer or the wholesaler or a businessman that as far as possible, probably within the limits of law, always try to restrict the payment of taxes to the government as less as possible. So lesser and lesser is what the manufacturer, the business would want to pay, and more is what the government might intend to pay. So we need to have a balance between these two, in the sense that whatever goes to the government will go ultimately, but however, the parties to the transaction, particularly the vendor and the recipient of goods or service, must be fair to each other, and the valuation has to be fair from the point of view of government, so that there is no suppression of revenue to the government. And again I repeat, GST as a percentage is always applied on the value, and then the tax becomes payable. For example, if you take any item which is charged at 5% GST, and if the value of the transaction is 100, then 5% of 100, that is 5 rupees, becomes payable to the government, assuming there is no necessity of there is no possibility of any input credit or the ITC availability here, right? So what is ITC, we will see later on. That's not part of the topic right now. We have to deal with ITC issues in detail at a later stage. So now the most important part that we need to understand is GST collection always happens by application of these rates of tax on the value. So ultimately I apply my percentage on the value, and then the amount arrived at need to be paid to the government after adjustment of ITCs if any. So now the whole point is, as GST is a percentage applied on value, higher the value, higher the taxes, lower the value, lower the taxes. So it becomes all the more important from the point of view of government to ensure that the parties to the transaction do not devise the transaction or frame the transaction in such a way that ultimately the price consideration becomes very less, and a lot of benefit which should have flown from the recipient to the supplier is happening by so many other means, where the value, so-called price consideration, is deliberately reduced. So what is important is the price being the sole consideration will be accepted only and only if it is a fair transaction. If the transaction is fair, there is no indirect benefits whatsoever flowing from the recipient of the goods to the supplier of goods or service. So what is primarily important for us to understand in respect of value of taxable supply of goods or services or both is, fundamentally, again I repeat, the value of goods or services means the transaction value. The value of goods and service means the transaction value, and the transaction value means the price actually paid or payable by, the price actually paid or payable. See, look at the word used. It may have been paid or it may be due to be paid. Even if it is due to be paid in respect of a credit transaction, say for example, it becomes price paid for the transaction becomes the value of the goods or services. Now there are different type of situations which we encounter in our day-to-day business. Whenever any businessman is trying to do a business, okay, if the business is widespread, there are huge different types of possibilities that can be visualized, and sometimes it becomes essential for the supplier to fulfill the requirement of the recipient of the goods or service also in terms of providing him some facilities, or probably there could be a situation where you expect the supplier to do a certain amount of things. There can be a lot of things which are supplied by the recipient of goods himself, and probably in respect of the whole transaction some amount of services are also required to be given by the recipient of the goods or service. There can be very many situations. Now the act deliberately explains to us, or we have to understand all for ourselves as to what are the different type of situations where it becomes little difficult for us to ascertain the value of the taxable value of goods or service. So there are a lot of different situations which now we are going to see one by one, where what the value ultimately is need to be determined. So the objective now is to determine the value of supply of goods or service or both. Now what are these different circumstances or situations in which the value need to be determined in a different manner is very important. But one thing primarily that all these students need to remember is, in all these respects, the common thread in respect of all these different situations is it only tries to ensure that the value ultimately, the value or the benefit ultimately which is to be got by the supplier or supplier of the goods or service is in no way suppressed. And you already have seen suppression of value means lower revenue to the government. Correct value, correct revenue to the government. So it's very simple. If the value is 100, 5% is 5 rupees. If the value is 200, 5% is 10 rupees. Is that clear? If it is 100, if it's 5. So as the value increases, the revenue or the taxes payable to the government also increases. As the value decreases, the revenue or the taxes payable to the government also decreases. So value becomes extremely important, because it is on this value, again I repeat, that the tax rates are applied and the taxes are paid to the government. So valuation of transaction is of utmost importance, because it is the correct determination of value that will ensure proper revenue to the government or proper taxes to the government under the GST law. So now we will start understanding one by one as to what are these different circumstances and how in each of these circumstances the value is determined. What is that value? Value for the supply of the value of taxable supply of goods or services. The word here, the technically always try to remember, you try to use the word as taxable supply, right? So the value of taxable supply of goods or service or both in various circumstances is what we are going to see hereafter. Now the first such situation could be, the first such situation is where before charging of GST, there are a lot of other taxes which are loaded on the value of the product. If at all the state governments have got certain taxes which they are trying to impose on the goods or the value of the goods, then in such a case, except for the taxes of GST under any law, maybe CGST, SGST, IGST, UTGST, whatever, except for the GST part, any other tax that is levied on the said value have to be included, and on the resultant figure the GST rate need to be applied. So what is value? When there are certain taxes which are charged on the value of the goods other than GST. So if there is any tax which is added to the value of the goods other than GST, we will include that value, and then on the combined value of the price and the tax which is loaded on that, together on that particular value, our GST will be charged. So it means the value does not include GST but includes all other taxes. So you can make a statement like this. So the first situation is where the value does not include GST but all other taxes. Other than GST, if any taxes are to be paid by the concerned recipient of goods or service, please load it on the value. Then on the resultant figure, then the resultant figure will be the value of the particular good or service for you on which the GST rate shall be taxed. So the first situation what you have seen now is value does not include GST but will definitely include all other taxes, if any, charged by the respective state governments or maybe sent at a later point of time. As of now, I don't foresee any such taxes except GST, but in case the government have to come forward with anything, then probably these rules will become applicable. Now the second situation is where the recipient of goods has paid some amount on behalf of the supplier. Please understand carefully. Now in any transaction there are two parties. There is a supplier and a recipient. The supplier supplies the goods and the recipient is supposed to pay the transaction value of the goods along with GST at the applicable rate. Now in a situation where some of the important payments that the supplier was supposed to make is now paid by the recipient of goods or services, then the amount so paid will also be added to the value of the transaction. Then on the revised value, the charge of GST will be made. Is that clear? So let's look at that in detail now, what it really means. The amount that the supplier is liable to pay in relation to supply but which has been incurred by the recipient of the supply not included in the price actually paid or payable with. So both this cannot be this cannot cover free inputs or services as the amount paid by the recipient on behalf of this should only be where the contractual liability. So what the provisions mean is, whenever any amount that is required to be paid by the supplier is paid by the recipient, it means indirectly you are favoring the supplier himself. The supplier was supposed to pay that. The supplier who has supplied you goods or service was supposed to pay that, and now on his behalf you have made the payment. It means the benefit of this payment goes to the supplier. When this goes to the supplier, so that need to be taken into account. But however, only such payments which are contractual in nature, if paid by the recipient alone, are included. If not, they should not be included for the purpose of valuation. Is that clear? So going by this, any free inputs or free services provided by the supplier need not be included as part of the value for the purpose of valuation of GST. Is that clear? So I'm just reading it as it is for you. This does not cover free inputs or services supplied by the recipient, as only amount paid by the recipient on behalf of the supplier is includable. This would be so only where there was a contractual liability on the supplier to make those supplies. So it means there was a contract out of which the supplier was supposed to make some payment. Now instead of supplier, the recipient of goods or service from his supplier is making that payment. So any payment that eventually he makes also need to be added to the value of the goods or service, and then on that the tax need to be collected. So the value will improve or the value will increase according to the rate that or according to the amount that the recipient may have paid on behalf of the supplier. So the first thing what we have seen is on the taxes part. The second situation we have seen is where some amount which supplier should have paid is paid by the recipient. You need to improve the value to the extent of amount paid by the recipient. Now we move on to the third type, incidental expenses before supply. Now please understand, any transaction of supply of goods or service does involve some amount of expenditure incidental to the transaction. So supposing you need to move goods, the goods might have to be moved from the manufacturing place to the godown, then from godown it need to be pushed to the marketing warehouse, then from warehouse it need to be pushed to the nearest stockyard where the customer might probably be there, then from there finally the goods need to be moved on to the customer. So there could be a lot of movement of goods which you need to spend, and every time this happens you need to spend on transport, you need to spend on loading and unloading, you need to spend on lot of incidental or connected expenses. Is that clear? So now let us see, in respect of such expenses, how the valuation has to be made, how the transaction has to be valued in a situation like this. Okay, if incidental expenses are incurred by the seller himself, the question does not arise at all. We have nothing to do. But however, if some of the expenses which were supposed to be incurred by the supplier of goods, which are supposed to be incurred by the supplier of goods, but eventually the same have been paid by the recipient of goods or services, then invariably it means what was supposed to be spent by the supplier is now spent by the recipient. So indirectly it's a benefit from the recipient flowing to supplier, which might eventually force you to add the cost incurred to the value of the transaction. It means the transaction value has to be increased to the extent of amount spent by the recipient of goods, which otherwise the supplier himself would have spent. Again the logic is simple. See, please understand, whenever any transaction happens between two parties, and the two parties invariably have to be a seller on one side and a buyer on the other side. So now the seller will charge a certain amount of price for the goods. Now if this price is all inclusive, we have no problem at all. But supposing the price is reduced because some of the expenses that the seller is required to incur will now be incurred by the buyer, invariably if the same price is considered without taking cognizance of the fact that the recipient also has incurred some expenditure which otherwise was required to be incurred by the supplier, invariably you will be charging GST on a lower price, because the price invariably has to include everything that the seller of the goods need to spend on. So now the next issue is incidental expenses incurred before the supply. In case of incidental expenses incurred before the supply, if it is done by the recipient, then obviously the value of the transaction need to be increased to the extent of expenses incurred by them. I will just read out what exactly it means. Incidental expenses including commission, packing charged by the supplier and the recipient of the supply, including any amount charged for anything done by the supplier in respect of supply of goods or service, or both at the time or before delivery of goods, as the case may be, are includable in the value. So what is it trying to say is any such expenses have to be included in the value, and then the final value that you determine, you need to charge a tax on that. So the examples of expenses also have been given here. It can be payment, it can be loading in factory, it can be inspection and testing before supply, and there could be value all these things need to be included in the value. That's what we are trying to say. The design charges incurred before supply also all includable. So it means all the expenses which are incurred before the supply of goods need to be included for the purpose of valuation. So what is the fourth instance now? The fourth instance is interest, late fee or penalty for delayed payment. Interest, late fees and penalty for delayed payment. So now we talk of interest, late fee or penalty for delayed payment. Any such amount paid by the recipient of goods is to be included in the value of the supply. Suppose any interest or late fee or penalty for delayed payment of any consideration for any supply is includable in the value. It means the value of the transaction has to be improved upon by the amount of interest paid by the person. But here what is important is the interest paid beyond the agreed terms. If at all the interest has been paid for late payment, or for payment beyond the agreed terms only, the interest will become addable to the value of the transaction and not otherwise. Okay. The next situation is tax payable if the value is inclusive of GST. Now tax payable when the value is inclusive of GST. Now suppose I charge a certain price for a product, and I say this price includes GST also. Now I say I charge 125 rupees for a particular pen. I say 125 rupees. And when you talk of GST, I say, sir, GST is already included in that. So it means this 125 that I am charging for the pen already includes the GST at an applicable rate. It means the 125 quoted is having its value plus GST on that. In such a situation, how do you determine the value?